For some time now, I have wanted to redesign my studio given that it's where I spend more time as an architect working from home. The more optimized my workspace gets and well thought out in its design, the better my overall work output is. So I wanted to show you the process of modeling, designing, and representing my home studio and the workflow I used to approach this challenge. This video is sponsored by Milanote, a tool for organizing your creative projects that you will see me using throughout the video. So let's start. The current layout. So my office is a relatively small space of 7 square meters. Currently, I have a dual desk setup, one that holds my primary workspace and the other for my partner. She is an artist who works on creative projects constantly. The desks were custom made to fit our specific size and needs. Since I'm relatively tall, I needed a desk to rest my arms comfortably without any forearm pain. Each desk is composed of a wood panel screwed on top of a steel structure. Although they are relatively big for our room size, they are perfect for our needs. The other big piece of furniture in our studio is a medium-height IKEA Kallax-style bookshelf that we use to store our books and random things in our office. Apart from my PC setup, the printer, and my partner's laptop, we don't have many things in our space, making it seem empty and bland. Although we like the minimal style, we also enjoy seeing our tools, books, greenery, and many little details in our workspace, given that it gives us a creative boost and makes us feel comfortable in the space. The model. Before making any design decision, I opted to take measurements of the whole space and model the room in SketchUp. Since some things will stay and I don't plan to throw away, like the desk and library, I also measured them to model them later. I took the materials into account when creating the model. Although it is a straightforward set of materials, they must look almost the same as they do in real life. So when I make the final renders, I can get a realistic feel of how the final design will look. Reference searching and brainstorming ideas. One of the most essential parts of any design is investigating, brainstorming, and trying to imagine the different possibilities for each space in your brain. One tool that can improve this process is Milanote. It's similar to when you go into an architect's studio and have things for a project stuck up on a wall, sketches, reference images, ideas, notes, and diagrams. It's like that, but online and infinite. One of the things I like the most is that starting a project is super easy with more than 100 built-in templates available for designers, photographers, filmmakers, and of course architects. I'm currently using Milanote to have a mood board with all the reference images of what I imagine the studio could look like. I also brainstormed what changes could be made in the actual space. So whenever I go to websites like ArcDaily, Pinterest, or Behance to search for my reference projects, I can just copy an image and paste it into my mood board. Also, there is a specific Chrome extension to do this from the website. Sometimes many apps are very rigid and don't allow me to treat this like a sketchbook where I can scribble, write, create lines, paste many things, change the colors, etc. With Milanote, I can do all this, making sure my creative brain dumps also look creative. As you can see, in the board created for this project, I have to-do lists, important documents, a design brief of what I need to take into account, and ideas boards, which I love creating. In my current mood board, I can extract color palettes from existing images or highlight things I want to remember for the design process. In this case, I'm really interested in this corkboard as a backdrop for my desk setup. And also, I really like how these white shelves make the objects stand out more than the actual shelves. I also like that the black accentuates specific design details and gives it an industrial look. Also, I plan to use Milanote to track a whole design project and share it with my colleagues or clients. Finally, Milanote is available for free with no time limit. Sign up using the link in the description and start your next creative project. The changes. I started by adding some white shelves in the airspace above the current desk position. This increased my storage space and gave some horizontal leading lines to a room that didn't have any particular directionality. I was debating between shelves with a wood finish or white ones. Nonetheless, I opted for thick white ones that could conceal the support system and give the impression of floating supports. As I was placing the shelves, I thought painting the back wall in a dark, contrasting color could make the shelves stand out much more. However, The different color options I tried made the room look small and compressed, so I opted to leave it white. To create a clear contrast and accentuate the wood's warm color, I installed cork panels in the lower part of the wall, creating a horizontal strip of materiality that stood out from the white materials and highlighted the actual workspace. Also, this would give that studio that creative, messy, artistic look we were looking for. Depending on the project and interest, the cork panel would change and reflect what we were creating. Beneath my partner's desk, I placed an IKEA Alex drawer as a storage space for her work materials. Since we both always work late and require different lighting types at certain moments, I decided to install 2 black pendant lamps above each workspace. I also recommend pairing this with Philips bulbs to have the ability to personalize the color according to your needs. Also, I chose to install some LED light strips on each shelf and beneath the desk. This is a budget-friendly way to add exciting lighting options to your studio setup. The second part of the studio. For the back part of the studio setup, I had 2 options. The cheapest option was, of course, to leave the actual bookshelf. And the second, more pricey option was to install an IKEA pegboard to have a minimal storage vibe where we could showcase our different work tools at any given moment. Also, pair this with a white drawer that matches the Alex drawer on the other side. On top, we could place random decorative elements and tools we don't necessarily need at our desk. Since I had occupied a lot of space on the main setup, I opted to leave this area with less clutter and have a nice balance. Perhaps a tiny plant on one corner could work perfectly, and that's it. And finally, I just painted the back wall at a dark gray to make the pegboard stand out. Final touches. I mostly added books on the shelves, although to leave some visual breathing room, I also added some hanging plants and decorative elements. Although I already have many plants throughout my house, I think some artificial ones can do the job because it's scientifically proven that they make us feel more relaxed and creative in a work environment. I added a metal grid frame on the corkboard to place random post-it notes and a calendar. Finally, some matching chairs can top off the designed look of the space and tie it visually. For creating these final renders, I used Enscape and in some cases a little bit of Photoshop. Overall, it was a really easy process and I used all the materials in SketchUp and Enscape. Also, the majority of the settings were the ones that came by default. It's essential to consider leaving the light at a minimum and not overexposing your images. I went into my Enscape window for the animations, selected the initial and final keyframe and clicked on export. That's basically it. Although this was the final design, I would love to hear what changes you would have made to this space. Also, if you want to learn how to create these types of images using Enscape, click on this video right here. If you want to see more transformations of any workspace, of any studio space, or any space in my apartment, let me know in the comments. I would love to make more videos like this. See you guys in the following video. Bye.